Good morning, everybody. It's Connie, and it's Friday morning, and I'm live, and I'm just kind of getting my stuff together here. My desk is just filled with things that I want to do today, but basically we're going to make some postage cards, and this branching out bundle that is in the new mini is one of the very first things that went onto my list. It looks so plain, right? It looks so innocent, but look at the dies. I'll show you what's awesome about the dies is that they're layering dies, which you know I'm a sucker for layering dies. And I love that they have these little cut corners. I think this will be great for messages. In the catalog, they show how to, make neat layers with those dies. And they have some great examples that you could recreate. The main thing that I bought it for, though, is the greenery and berries pieces. I'm a sucker for greenery and berries, especially around the holiday times. And I love how this is all layered up in here. And I kind of wanted to do something like that today. So that's my plan. And then, Moose, get out of there. Sorry, my neighbors are having a garage sale across the street, and so I can't leave the door open for my dog. So he's going to be underfoot the whole time. This is my version of a card that Nicole Sporer made. She did one with two postcards that were kind of offset, wonky, and then tied it with twine. And I'm like, okay, that's too adorable for words. Now this is my Club Scrap swap card for a birthday card, and using all Club Scrap products. So this is not, Stampin' Up, but I want to make a Stampin' Up version, and I want to use the branching out dies. And so I started looking around at everything that I had that is postage-y. And of course, I started with the postage themed dies, again, layering, and they also have a few other little pieces. And these are the pieces I chose. So not the full card size, because I want to do two pieces that layer. So I cut two of these ahead of time so that I could, layer them onto a card base and have them, offset without hanging over the edge of the card. And if I used the larger size, I would not have been able to do that. It would have been more like this. I'm not even sure you would be able to see the second one. So that's why I chose the smaller one. And then they have this little piece in here that is like the cancellation mark. Now, if I had a suggestion for Stampin' Up with this, it's not to put flowers and butterflies on everything. I'm not a big flower and butterfly person. I don't understand why they did a butterfly there. Why not just have it say post or something? But I am going to use it. And I played with this on some practice paper, like some cardstock scraps, and you can't really see the butterfly unless you're looking specifically for it. And I really thought I could cover it up if I need to. But yes, I have gobs of canceled postage in my stash to use, but I want to make it all Stampin' Up and with everything that's current so that you can do that too. Now this postcard word, Stampin' Up! Does not have anything like that. I sure wish they did, because I would be using it all the time. And the other thing that I did on this to make it look like a postcard is, you can see I drew a black line on there. And then I was like, I don't think that mattered very much on this card. I mean, I did it, but I don't think I needed to. And so I think just having it look like letters will be good enough. I think it'll be good enough. So this is my plan today. And so I want to prep these. I should show the other thing I considered there are 2 or 3 sets now that have these like journal lines. And if you use that stamp on the edge of your card right there, like that, it will look like canceled postage. It'll look just like canceled postage. So really, you have to kind of do a real review of everything you have and kind of decide what you want to do. Now, the other postage thing that I found is this stamp. This is in the Keeping Traditions stamp set. It is the stamp set that kind of goes along with the scrapbooking workshop that you can buy separately. It does not have dies. However, look at all these fabulous words, and these are perfect for cards like this. So when I was looking at this one, of course I jumped right in and I had to make a card immediately. And this is the card that I made right here. So let me fix my comments here. Sorry. While I'm messing with my comments a little bit, I want to let you know that there is World Card Making Day coming up. I put a post from Sarah Douglas on my page, and basically the word behind the scenes is that if you register for the event, and it's free, but if you put in your email, they're sending something out at the end. Now, whether that's a coupon code or just a card pattern or something, I don't know. I have no idea. That's sort of the word out there. And so I thought, why not register? Even, if you're just going to watch and not play along or whatever, just pop in and say hello and, register for it. Anyway, this card is very similar to the one in the catalog in that it's just basically stamped, and it's beautiful. I went ahead and used that postage stamp on the edge. I wanted it to be vertical, but it would have been really neat horizontal too. And then the word cheer I used at the bottom. I think holly jolly, I think magic, fa la la, celebrate, any of these would have worked wonderfully on this card. Look at joy. How about make merry? I think that's so sweet. And then I used, you might notice there's some texture on the card base. I used that giant plaid embossing folder just to add a little something to the front of my card. I just thought it added to the edge. And then I just layered. And the stickles on the front are not from Stampin' Up, but I think they turned out really nicely. So that is from that Keeping Traditions set. And so I just wanted to show you that too. Okay. Whew, and I'm not going to use the boo thing, even though I thought about it. What else? Okay, so the other thing that I got out that I thought this would work really well is this Falling Snow cling stamp. It is still available. It is total background, and I love the idea of having this as like just a background on this, and then I could work up more. But what I decided to do is a little different, but I will be using this year. I will be using this for all the snow stuff that I got going. I'm so glad they kept that forward. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. All right, let's see. What do I have here? I need to get I should have myself a little more put together. I ran over to that garage sale right before I came over, and so my brain is just a little bit meh. All right, so I want to get my postcards ready, and I want to edge them a little bit with some brown ink to kind of make them look aged, if that makes sense. And so I typically tap off just a little bit. I am using kind of a darker brown, and I think if I would have done crumb cake on crumb cake, it wouldn't have been quite so stark, but this is what I'm going with, so here I go. And so around the edge of both of these, my stomach is growling. I hope you can't hear that. I typically fast every morning until about 11 o'clock. And for some reason today, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to eat. I don't usually feel that way at all. But today it's affecting me. All right, so we have those. All right, now the other thing I want to edge in ink is my card base. I went ahead and went with a coordinating crumb cake cardstock as an edge, or as a base, because I really like how that looks. Now the other thing I wanted to bring to your attention is, Stampin' Up! Has two types of cardstock now. They have the white core, which we all love. It's a little lighter weight, and you can do lots of cool techniques with it and stuff. And then they have their traditional paper cardstock they've always carried, which is more of a solid core, and it's a heavier weight. And you can buy it in 8.5 by 11, which is really great, because 8.5 by 11 cardstock, of course, can be, folded into a nice sturdy card base. And it's really great for when you're doing some interactive cards where you need something a little sturdier than the white core. Okay, I'm going to set my card base aside. I don't need that for a little while. And then there's those. The other thing I want to do, let's go ahead. Now the bottom piece is just going to be, that on the bottom. It's just going to be offset on the bottom. And so trying to decide which one I want on the top and which one on the bottom. That ink will fade back just a little bit. I'm gonna work with this one. The first thing I want to do is I want to put this imprint. I know it has a butterfly for this Christmas card. Ugh. But I want to put this cancellation mark in here. And to do that, what's interesting with this one is it makes an impression. It doesn't necessarily cut through anything. It just impresses into your cardstock. So I'm just gonna run that through my machine off camera. So you're probably wondering, so do I buy both types of cardstock? Yeah, I do. I really like the solid core sturdy cardstock for card making, and it has a more it has a deeper, how do I describe it? It's almost like a more true color. It's a deeper, darker color. And so I like that, and I really like the white, also the white core too. I use it. All right, so the other thing I pulled out today is this set. Now this set is new. It's Snowy Delights. I just wanted to use it. The dies in it are incredible, and one of the dies is this snowflake thing, and this is what it cuts. It cuts basically like a negative, and you could totally do this as a border. Put it across a page or a card or at the bottom of photos or whatever. But I'm going to be using this on, I just wanted to have my some snowflakes, and I wanted to bring in that pink. I think this is pretty in pink, I think. Hold on, let me look. Yes, pretty in pink. So I used this die to cut a little batch of snowflakes right there. I'm just going to set those aside for a sec because I am going to use that. The other thing I'm using from this set, I'm going to do that right now. I like the scriptiness of this set for this project. It's like, to me, it's a little hard to read. It's a little small. It's not perfect, a perfect font for cards, because it's a little small for how scripty it is. However, I love the messages. They're so beautiful. And, you know, I'll be using them. Don't worry. I'll be using them. I'm going to use white craft ink, and I'm going to take that Sending You Joy and Many Delights, and I'm just going to lightly kind of put this across the front like that. Now, you're probably like, why bother? Because what's going to happen with this is it's going to fade back, and you're not going to be able to read it. You can't read it now. It's light. It's very light. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just trying to create a little texture on it. Sorry, I'm cleaning up my stamp so I can get ready to put that away. Put that aside. Okay, so while that is doing its thing and drying, I want to show you, I want to get the other pieces ready. I cut out a whole bunch of berries and these little twigs and the pine cones and the berries here. And I cut a whole bunch of them out. And here's my mistake. I want to color these. And I cut one of them out in Mossy Meadow, but all the others, I have them all in white. And I'm like, why did I do that? Because now I have to blending brush these. And if you look at them, they're just a little bit fine. And so they're small. And so that makes it a little trickier to use with the blending brush. And so let's see, I'm going to need 2 of these. I don't know if I need any pine cones, but I'm going to go ahead and do a couple anyway. Why not? So I'm just going to put those aside. These are the pieces I need. Let me get out my grip mat. Now this is the other thing, is that if you have pieces this small, it's really nice to have something sticky or a grip mat to put them on while you're blending, because it'll hold them in place. You could use like a piece of, sometimes I'll use double stick tape and just run it across the back and just stick them to it. But anyway, this is what I'm doing. And here's my mistake, and don't do the same thing as me. I should have taken some scrap cardstock and colored it with ink and then cut it out. It's a much, I don't know, smarter plan to take this and blend ink on it like that, and then take the die and cut that out. when it's such a fussy little cut, right? That's what I should have done right there. So don't do as I'm doing. Do as I recommend instead. Because here's the, you can do it either way. Like, see, I'm doing it. It's just not, I don't know, it's not the same. It's easier the other way. You're just gonna have to trust me. Easier. And then I'm going to use a soft, I'm going to use Mossy Meadow as my green. I have it in a cube, but I don't want it full strength. I already cut this one full strength in, and I just want it to be nice and soft. So cleaning off my brush a little bit, and I'm just gonna tap a little bit, and I'm gonna brush this on. See, this is one of those where if you brush too hard, you're going to make the little pieces bend backwards. So you have to be careful about how you put the ink on. And of course, this again, if I would have done this, I have all these card panels. If I would have just done this over a card panel and cut it out, it would have looked great and no problem. I'm just, I don't know, wasn't thinking. All right, and then the last thing, I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple of pine cones, but the truth is, I don't think I need pine cones for this card. I hadn't, but a grip mat is wonderful. It doesn't even matter what brand, I have them all. I have tons. I have the Brutus Monroe one. I have the Altenew one. I have the Waffle Flower. I mean, they're all great. They all work amazing. And the idea is basically that you just have something that is sticky that will hold your pieces in place. Sorry, gotta get my thing turned around so it'll spray. And I just clean this with water or stamp cleaner. The Stampin' Up stamp cleaner is really great. And so, and it comes in a little spritz bottle. I like that. All right, and these do stain. These are made out of the same material as like a rubber stamp, like a photopolymer. And so they stain, but that just means you love them and you've been using them. All right, now, the last little, I have a couple little things I want to stamp. I want to use the branching out set, and there's a couple of different branches, and it doesn't really matter which branch you use, but I'm going to go ahead and just use, do I want this one? I think I'm going to use this one and in brown, and just kind of put that on there. I hope everybody's doing something fun today. Just like that. Isn't that pretty though? This set, I keep thinking, okay, I have a lot of birds, like cardinals and birds, winter birds. I think that would be amazing with this set to make the greenery around the birds and the birdhouses and stuff. And that's sort of my tentative plan. And so, cool, right? All right, so I have that, and then I was gonna stamp a little greenery. I'm not sure I really need that. I might just do the greenery. I'll put a little bit on. More is more. It's all right. This is Soft Succulent. It's a blue-green. It's off from you know, it's not the color that my card is. But I'm just going to use a little scratch paper and stamp off, and then stamp. I don't want this to show very much. This is going to be in the background. And it doesn't, which is perfect. It's just going to give a little bit of texture in the background. It's not going to be a major color, a major part of this card. All right. Let me just put this away. All right. Now, the other thing I want to stamp really quick is a message. And I looked at the new messages to see what I wanted to use. And I really like this little die right here. This is a part of the greetings of the season, and look at all the messages I have to pick from. There's so many, and it makes all these little tags, which is great. And so I thought this tag would look really good, and I like this season's greetings. I thought I had it out. Now I'm looking to see if I do. I probably don't. I probably put it away yesterday. Yeah, I like this season's greetings, and I like how it fits right on there. And the other, on the inside, look how many options there are on this words for the season. The words for the season I grabbed because I wanted all these words, but these are too big for my card today. But I really love some of the messages for the inside of cards. Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm going to put this on the top of my mail, but it needs a little color. So I'm going to get out my pink again. I'm just going to edge it in pink. I would stamp the message first and then do this, but I run the risk of smearing it because it needs to dry just a minute before I blend. So I'm going to blend first and then put the message on. And the message is Season's Greetings. And I'm just going to fit it onto that tag, just like that. Okay. Okay, so there's that. Put that aside. And then I think I'm ready to assemble. Yeah, I think I'm ready. So basically what I'm going to do, I have my card base. I have this little green piece. I was messing around with the embossing folder and I used an embossing folder on it. I don't need it. I don't need the embossed part. It won't even show. To be honest, it doesn't even show. But I'm going to go ahead and use a piece because why not? I want to use it up. And then I'm going to layer this on here like this. Isn't that great? And that's going to be like my card front. So, but first I need to wrap these in twine. And so you have a couple options. There's a 5-pack of colors of baker's twine, and then there's the linen thread, and either of these will look fabulous. Okay, I'm just going to use this one because I have it out. And basically I think I'm going to go ahead and attach my two cards together just a little bit. Let's see how that will look. See how much I can offset these before I stick them together. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay, there we go. Now they're stuck together, and I want to leave plenty. I'm a fiddly bow tire, and so I want to leave plenty to be able to tie a bow. So I'm just going to wrap this like you would a package, like that, and then leave enough on the other side. I know it's wasteful, and at the same time, it's like I don't have any options here. I have to do it. It takes me a minute to wrap these up. So, all right. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to make sure that my wrap around the cards is fairly straight. I like that. Fairly straight. And then I'm going to go ahead and just tie this in a knot so that I can tie a bow when I'm ready. I told you, I'm a fiddly bow tire. I never used to have problems, but I have a tendonitis in my fingers. There we go. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to leave those strings there for just a moment while we decorate the rest of the card. So first things first, I want these pieces coming off like this, and you can always trim. You know, I'll show you. I'll be trimming. We'll be trimming, but you just want to glue these down, and I'll just put that under like that, and then we'll do this one too. I like how that looks. Now, remember where they crisscross in the middle is going to be covered. So, don't worry. Just don't worry. All right. Now this one I want in 2 pieces. So I'm going to cut this apart. And then what I want to do is I want to have one up at the top and one at the bottom. Like I said, that stamped part isn't really going to show too much, so I like the variation of having the darker solid green along with the softer stamped green like that. And then I want to put on the berry sprigs. Now these could be a little darker. You could do these in red. It would look really great. I'm just going to put those on, and I want them to meet in the middle just like the greenery. Put that on there. And one at the bottom. So my husband is at the racetrack today. He called me the last time he was at the racetrack. He had a major oh my God, it's like something in his transmission fluid blew or something crazy happened. I don't know. It was crazy, but he had to be towed home, and by another one of the track instructors helped him by bringing his car home. Okay, I got another little thing I want to add to this. This is Jolly Delivery. It is one of my favorite sets of the new catalog. And I saw that they have postage and packages right there. Isn't that cute? I love it. And so I'm going to use what color should I use? I think I'll use my brown ink to stamp these on some scratch paper. Let me grab a scratch paper. I always have a stack of panels like here next to my table that I use for scratch or for card bases. I have them cut down to the perfect size, and it is really nice to just have them there and ready. And so I always have scratch paper right there, cardstock to use. Isn't that great? Look at those little postage pieces. They're so cute. And I want to layer them on there, but I feel like they need a little color. So yeah, I'm gonna color. And fussy cut, because I did not buy dies for this. Although I don't think the dies cut out each little individual piece on that anyway. But anyway, this is my plan. I'm going to color. So basically what I want to do is put a little ink on my table, and I'm going to use a water brush. And exciting that the water painter brushes are back in stock. They finally found a vendor for these, which is really cool. Very exciting because they've been out of stock for a little while they were trying to find a vendor who makes them. All right, and then I'm going to do the other two in Mossy Meadow. And again, just add a little water. You can check and see how dark it is before you start. I just want it to be a little bit light. And I'm just watercoloring that, and look at all the, it makes me want to get a scratch paper out, put ink on everything so that I can cut out more leaves for later, but it's okay. I'll be okay. All right, and then we're just gonna trim. This, I know, yeah, you know what? This card is fussy. This card is, I'm going to a Stampin' Up kind of a retreat with my team coming up, and I want to make a wow card for my swap card, and I think this may be it. I've been fiddling around trying to decide what I want to do for a swap card, and I want to do something that's a little unique and a little bit different. And I love how this has like the offset postage. You know, I'm a postage freak, so it suits my style. I think it's gonna be a good swap card. Would you like to get this in a swap? I don't know. It's to me, when you do cards for 100 people, this would take you a while. This card would be a time-consuming card, right? This one would take you a bit. But if you're making a swap card, this one is perfect. I think perfect. All right, so I think I'm going to put those on last. I'm going to let them dry just for a moment, and let's decorate the rest. Let's get this bow done. This season's greetings is great, and I want to tie a bow and have it hanging off the center like that. So I need to make that darn bow. Arr. If any of you have watched me make bows, I usually don't have any trouble, but lately, yikes. Let's see. So I'm just gonna take a dimensional. I'm looking for the right size. I have all these little tiny ones, and I want a bigger one. That's okay. I'll just use a piece of foam. I'm gonna put that on the back. And I want that kind of in place so that I'm not having to hold it while I tie. And then I'm going to tie a bow, and that'll be like my package. So, all right, I'm going to get real quiet while I make this because, geesh, I'm just going to make it look like a normal tied bow. Awesome. All right. Kind of move that a little bit so I can make it a little smaller. Now, the other thing that I do when I make bows on cards that are going to have to be, you know, handled and stuff, I always take glue and I glue that connection. Now my glue is white, but it will dry clear. Okay, so I'm not worried about that. The other thing I want to do is I want to add some snowflakes to my card. I love the idea of adding these pink snowflakes. This pink is just super cool. And so I think I'm going to do that. The other little thing that this cuts are all these little tiny circles. I don't know if you can see those. Let me zoom a little and move my camera. So I think this is cool. Hey Denise, how are you? I thought you were off sailing somewhere or something, or cruising. I didn't realize you were back. I live vicariously through Denise. She travels constantly. I'm not a real traveler at heart. It's not, I mean, I like to go new places, but I don't feel that need to constantly go. I'm just putting some of these little dots on. See? Fussy, right? Fussy. But it's going to end up looking so good. I'm going to be so happy when it's all done. You guys are going to be like, wow. All right, so I really like that. Now I'm ready for putting the presents on. And I have little teeny tiny strips of foam dimensionals. And I'm just going to cover up that center. You see how the center just, that it looks a little messy through there. I need to cover it. And so that's what I'm doing here. And I'm putting the foam at the top of the present so that then I can glue the bottom down. It'll look slanted, in other words. So see, like the top of the present has that, the bottom of the present has glue. And then when I put it on here, it looks slanted, right? Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm doing that to each of these three. I'm going to put it at the top. And like that. And then I'm going to put one down here in the corner. Wow. What do you think? Cool. Now, the question is, do I need the pine cones? Probably not. Probably not. Oh, it adds to it though. I'm going to do it. I know. It's just more. I just keep adding. I just keep adding. But I do like how it looks. Yeah, you know, this would look totally different in different colors. I think if I did this in, you know, reds and greens, it would just look really different. Okay, what do you think? Now, one thing I think it really needs is some snow look, white spatter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this in place. My glue is like, it's got a little clog in there. Oh, there it goes. I'm gonna glue this down where I want it, and I could put dimension on it even. I'm just gonna push, push, push. Okay, now I have some white paint that I like to use as spatter, but I'm going to show you, you can use your craft ink and just, you know, use the re-inker or something and drip just a little bit out, and then use just a little bit of water and a paintbrush and get it nice and sloppy. And the more, you know, water you use, can you even see what I'm doing? Hold on a minute. The more water you use, the less it'll like fade back. But I want some snow on here. And so I like how this is looking. And I feel like I need just a few bigger drops. And so sometimes I'll even take a gel pen and, you know, add a few dots here and there just to make them bigger. But I'll just do this with my paintbrush while I'm playing. All right. All right, I'm gonna hold this up close so you can see, because it is hard to see, but you can kind of see the white dots and the detail of that card front. It's really, it's kind of delicate. It's kind of fussy. If you're gonna spatter like this, I have white spatter like all over my camera stand and my desk and everything. I usually use a box, like one of the boxes that your Stampin' Up stuff comes in or whatever. That's a great idea. Just use that if you've got one. And that way when you put ink and spatter and stuff all over the place, you're not spattering your desk. And especially if you are like me and you like to use a white paint. All right, putting that on my card base. And then the other, I think that's beautiful. It needs a little sparkle. I have a whole bunch of those like sparkle gems, and I just like to add those and put those around so they're, you know, it's got a little bit of twinkle. It needs it. It needs the that extra little bit. And you don't have to add a ton, but why not? I have them. I'm like, why not? All right, so there's that. And I'm going to kind of move it around so you can see the twinkle. What do you think? Do you love it? Do you hate it? You're probably, I know what you're thinking. You're like, I would never do that, Connie. Oh my God, that is so much work. But if you did this assembly line, not bad. And I think I really am going to make that for my swap card. Here's the one I made as a template. See, I got two done already. And then I'll show you again. This was my inspiration card. This is the one that I did for Club Scrap, and it's just stamped, no dies, so there's not a lot of dimension. I just tied it with the twine and I glued that so it won't come undone. I just put a message on. So there's that one. And then where's my other card? Oh yeah. And then I did this other postage card using that branching out. So there you go. What do you think? I think pretty good, don't you? That's 4 cards. You know, I did a couple of these yesterday. This one is for another swap that I'm in, and you know, I think if I assembly line cut all the pieces, assembly line color everything, I don't think it'll be too bad. You might get one of these Christmas cards this year. You just never know. So, all right. So I hope you have a great day, you guys. And don't forget to go ahead, go right now and click on the link at Stampin' Up and register for the World Card Making Day. Even if you aren't going to participate, look how pretty that is on there. Even if you're not going to participate, I think they may be sending something out to everybody at the end, even if it's a card pattern or a discount code, or I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be a surprise. But I've heard something is getting sent out. And if you're not registered, you won't get it. So take advantage of that and have a great day. I hope you guys love that. All right. Bye-bye.